Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Ethereum. We are in a broadening wedge type of pattern here that derived from the downside, so likelihood of further upside is still higher. So keep that in mind. This coin has a lot of strength behind it, including high volume and just generally speaking, kind of the front runner for all season if that were to even be a thing this year, right? I'm not proposing it well, just saying that that is essentially kind of how it's supposed to work. Now taking a look here at the back-end liquidation data, we'll go ahead and verify that first, see where we're at. I do want to say hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance, let me know what your position here is on this coin, and just hit the like button every single time you watch my videos. Don't forget to also join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I've got an available community there, a lot of good stuff going on, and phenomenal results here recently with just really good feedback. So thank you again so much, and keep hitting those like buttons, folks. Appreciate it. So back in liquidation data, simple way to understand it here is that there's more liquidation to the upside than the downside as far as it being closer. And that really reinforces the fact that you shouldn't be shorting this coin. I know it's tempting to short at resistance because that's a natural reaction. And of course, Bitcoin doing really well right now. Bitcoin more so feeling like it's topping out, also doing well. Those are things that can kind of get in your head when trying to consider shorting. I get it. And statistically speaking, you will have better success doing that. But this coin has proven to maintain its range and do really well outside of other altcoins like pulling back. This one, while it does pull back, it stays in its range, and it's a good sign. So it usually implies that until it breaks this range, it'll continue, but also more likelihood of further upside, okay? And that upside comes here between 2,800 and 3,100. There's a lot of liquidation on the upside there for that. Locally, it's kind of a mixed bag. There's kind of a little chunks here and there, but for the most part, most of the local upper liquidation has been swept. So we could actually see a pullback here. We are in a resistance range. I just think that the odds are lower, more specifically because of how much liquidation is here. I mean, look at this long liquidation delta. That's at 10 billion. That's almost the exact same amount of liquidation in longs versus Bitcoin as well right now. That's a super strong sign. Ethereum typically usually only has half that kind of volume, and now we're seeing it rival with Bitcoin. All that said, the last 7 days we can see open interest. There's heavy accumulations at 26.85 and the approximate range of 26.30. And those are like the two heavier concentrations below the price. Doesn't tell us too much, honestly, but that is just a relevant thing in regard to support ranges. Okay, so we got some support below us. That's what that's emphasizing. On the daily time frame, here's kind of where we're at. First of all, we're above all moving averages, including the 200. I don't think there's really any coin right now that can say that. Okay, and that's a good sign. Being over the 200 is an important factor. It doesn't mean we're just going to go to the metaphorical moon, but it does imply that further upside makes more sense, having broken through that, somewhat of a resistance. Be careful considering SMAs as resistances, folks. It's a slippery slope, but generally speaking, that's kind of the concept there. It does provide some resilience, if you will. Now, we're over our moving average. Money flow index is above the price. Stochastic swinging up, MACD converging. These are all phenomenal signs here. So the daily time frame looks fantastic. There's nothing here telling us we should short. Now, again, if you're like a range-bound trader, then sure, consider shorting to this 2,600 range if you get lucky. But that's pretty much what it is right now. It doesn't make a ton of sense unless Bitcoin really, really rips down. There's no reason to consider that. Take a look at this here. Look at how Bitcoin is performing versus Ethereum. Ethereum is in a nice broadening wedge pattern. Bitcoin is in a pullback that just broke free from its descending trend line. Which coin looks stronger to you? I think Ethereum looks a lot stronger in my personal opinion based on the structure that we're seeing. Now, the 4-hour time frame, when we look at this here as well, we want to recognize that we are right here at this resistance. In other words, right when you have 70 on the RSI kind of getting tested, that can commonly be construed as a take profit target on the long. Okay, so maybe consider doing so. There's no doubt the price could still pull back, especially if Bitcoin starts to continue lower. But from a general standpoint, from a macro perspective, I think the overall sentiment is up with a short-term correction potential in the immediate future. Okay, that's all based on Bitcoin. Literally, if Bitcoin maintains its current range of 108 to 109K, I really think Ethereum is going to break its local high here of 2,800 and just go for a run towards that $3,000 mark. I think that's very practical at this point. But overall, that's kind of where we're at there. This is that rough estimate of that resistance here, that level we want to pay attention to. So I'll clean up the charts. I'll post a playout chart. It's going to be available on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, of course. Make sure you check out Bitunix too, folks. Links down below for that. We got like 8 more days left on this promotional bonus. If you use my link to register, you'll be eligible for all future bonuses. It's really awesome. Anyways, check them out. They're really good exchange, no KYC or VPN. I've got a Trading Academy community and Signals group too if you're interested. Click on the link down below. It's all available for you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much again for your time. Take care.